Hello. This is Michael, and today we are going to talk about ourselves. I want us to talk about who we really are and what we are here for. And for me, not spending much time, I want us to go straight forward. All right. And but before we do that, I want you to click on the bell button on my channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, try so hard to subscribe. All right. But before we go ahead, I want you to ask ourselves this question: who brought us into this world? Why are we here? And for what reason are we even hustling or struggling? Do we live a life to please people, or we are here to live a life on our own? So many people, especially the youth today, always live a life trying to compete ourselves with other people. Not all of us are born with silver spoon in our mouth. Some of us are born in a family where we need to struggle ourselves. Most of us came from the village and we need to go to the city to struggle and then come back to look after our family. If we want to be relying on family members, or we want to be relying on people who are our uncles or whatever, whoever they are, thinking that it is their responsibility for them to take care of you, then my brother or my sister, you are lacking behind. The reason is because I had the same experience. It came to a time where I thought it was their responsibility. It is the responsibility of my parents or my uncles or my family members to take care of me. And I get to realize that nobody really cares. To be honest with you, even though it is the responsibility of your parents because they brought you into this world, but come to think of it, there are some families that are so poor. They try so hard to push their children forward, but it doesn't take their own effort. It takes the effort of God. All right. And some of the people are there always, most of the children are there, or most of the kids are there. They ended up failing. Why? Because they didn't help themselves. So, if assuming you lost your parent, I'm talking about people who are orphans. Assuming you lost your parent and you don't have any parent or anybody taking care of you, how then do you cope? If you do not learn how to train yourself or how to rely on yourself. This is why it is very, very important for you to learn how to live on yourself. It is an advice and an experience that I'm sharing with you. You have a long way to go. Remember, your parents were struggling before they gave birth to you. They can still continue with their struggling. But what about you? Have you thought of for yourself in case mom is not there or dad is not there? Have you ever thought of yourself? You need to take a minute. If I were to be you, there are a lot of the youth that we spend much of the money wasting money on unnecessary things. To be honest with you, especially talking about phones and other worldly, they are all liabilities. Okay, you don't spend money on something that will not yield you any profit because you need to lift yourself up and you wouldn't know the next thing that will happen. Nobody knows tomorrow, as it has always been saying. Nobody knows tomorrow. You need to start investing because just a minute you will hear bad news. And if you are not prepared for this particular event or this particular moment, you'll be down to earth. And I'm serious. And always, if I were to be you, and I will advise you always to be relying on God. Rely on God alone. Never ever put your trust in man. Your uncle might promise you heaven. Your uncle might promise you to go to school. I had a friend who said the same thing, that the uncle told him to go to school, where for the first semester, the uncle paid the bill. But from since then, or since then, he has never heard of his uncle again. You see how the world is. So if you want to be relying on the world, my brother, you are going to fail. So it is very appropriate, and I would advise you that you try so hard to rely on yourself and trust God alone. Prayers always work. Those of you who don't believe in God, prayers always work. I have had an encounter several times with God, and He has helped me a lot. He has helped me a lot. If not for God, I wouldn't have been where I am today. So as a youth, as my fellow youth, my fellow young men and women that are there struggling, that are trying their best, I know most of you are struggling, but please take much time, okay, for yourself. Start investing. Start thinking of your future, and always trust in God alone, not in men. This has caused a lot of youth frustration, and a lot of depression can cause a lot of youth to even indulge themselves into a lot of activities, negative activities which will not help them. There are ladies that try to live a life and they ended up dating men which they do not want to date, and they ended up fornicating, and the consequences of all this are distance, right? If not for the aspect of the punishment from God or going to hell and all those things, let's just put them aside. There are a lot of physical consequences, right? And some of them are the sicknesses. STIs are available now. They are everywhere. And if you don't take care, you can contradict with any of them, and it will yield into something else, which will not help you. So I will advise you as a lady to spend time for yourself. Start thinking of how to create things. Start learning a side job or start learning a hard work. Alright? We have some hand works that you can do. There are a lot of things. Some of them do this fashion design. There are people who are in school but yet doing this fashion design. And some people also who do these petty things like these petty trading things. They do business. Alright? They learn how to do cake, they learn how to do sobolo, ice cream, and a lot of things. So if you learn how to do all those things, it can help you while you are even in school. If you are not a student, you can still do that. There are people who are on the street struggling. What about people who are hawkers on the street? They do their very possible means. They do their very possible best to make sure they put food on the table for themselves. So you don't wait for your family, or you don't always sit there and be lamenting or complaining to your family. And that is very important. Very, very important. So a piece of advice, I think we should just start doing the same practice or putting them into practice. And it's going to help us a lot. Very, very important. So my brothers, my sisters, I don't want to waste much of your time, so I'll just put an end to this. We'll continue the rest in time. See you, and please don't forget to subscribe onto my channel. I have two channels on YouTube. One is McQueen Tech and the other one is McQueen Daily. So you can subscribe to all of them, alright, and you get a daily update or daily videos that I'll be posting on YouTube. Thank you very much for having time with me. God bless you. Bye.